Leave the loaves of bread at home. The city of Walla Walla wants park visitors to stop feeding the wildlife. They're worried this could attract more animals to the park, creating an unsafe or unhealthy environment for humans. Today I stopped by Pioneer Park to meet with Parks Department, who tells us why it's important to enjoy the ducks and squirrels from afar. We see these signs on roadways, and now they're at Pioneer Park. The city of Walla Walla has a message for visitors. Park Supervisor Wes Walker says more food equals more animals, and there's only so much room for wildlife at the park.
It is, a big park in the sense of where it's at in town, but it's not that big when you consider the amount of birds that we've seen coming into the park over the last few years. They can become aggressive, especially if they start nesting here.
Wes is talking about the geese who now call the park home that migrated there. They also don't want birds getting aggressive with visitors. The city also concerned about what birds leave behind that can pose a public health risk.
The sidewalks, every walkway nearby the ponds, and even in kind of the central area of the ponds, they were all just completely covered with duck and goose excrement. And yeah, there is definitely concern for diseases, whether they're transmissible between bird species or humans as well.
It's not just the waterfowl that shouldn't be fed. An influx of squirrels are harming the park's trees.
They will cause damage to the trees as they chew on the bark. It's not just our adolescent trees, but some of our older trees are seeing damage too.
It's counterproductive to the city's effort to grow the urban forest at Pioneer Park. Wes says squirrels tend to chew on new tree growth, effectively killing them. The city says if people continue to feed wildlife, these problems will only increase.
The human provided food is not always necessarily something that's a benefit to the bird. We've seen some issues with people feeding breads and those sugary starches, things like that. I'm not sure what their dietary needs are, but I know that in a park setting, when you have a buffet of grain and bread, it's not necessarily in their benefit.
And this advice doesn't just apply to Pioneer Park. Leave the chips and bread at home for sandwiches, not bird or wildlife food.